tangles, I realized it was just the door's seal going bad. The fridge was overworking itself. I understand, fridge. You need some me time. I patted its side, then grabbed my stuff to leave. Outside, the October clouds swirled into shapes that looked like moving mouths and fisting hands. Thunder drummed, and more bizarre amethyst lightning split the sky. A metallic taste touched my tongue as I started my vintage Indian motorcycle. I sped onto the empty side streets, heading for home as the rain began. Wind pushed my bike, and I gripped the handlebars, forcing my beautiful beast to stay in the lane. Lightning nearly blinded me as I hurried down 4th, zipping past the cemetery filled with Revolutionary War and Civil War heroes, then going toward Hillsborough Road. At the stoplight, thunder boomed, and I turned my head to see a 5-pronged lightning strike illuminate a massive hill and... I squinted. No, it couldn't be. The sky went dark again, and the light turned green. I drove off, wondering if I had lost my mind, because I could have sworn that instead of a bunch of trees overlooking the Harpeth River, the CVS, and a bunch of businesses and houses, I'd seen a huge hill and a castle. Chapter 2. I woke up at my usual 5 a.m. the next morning, untangled my hair from my earbuds as my toast popped, then threw some healthy avocado on top of the sourdough. Hekla's continuous warnings about my obsession with all things bread had finally had its intended effect. I was actually considering my health for a second. That storm had been super bizarre. A castle? I laughed aloud at myself. No way. I shook my head. I'd been tired last night, and the lightning had made my eyes do something weird. I'd passed out after a fat, healthy serving of wine and the Great British Baking Show reruns. Still... Might be time for a vacation, I mumbled. As I rode down my street and out of my neighborhood, I had to dodge a pickup truck full of pumpkins and a bevy of neon-clothed cyclists. I crossed Hillsborough and glanced to my left. There it was, the castle. No way. I squeezed my brakes and almost ate the end of a bright blue Tesla. There, on a new hill above town, was a castle. A legit castle, like Renaissance style. Now, if some country music star got a wild hair and decided to undertake the reproduction of a ginormous 15th whatever century mansion for a recording studio, that would not be a shock, but I would have seen that construction in progress. I would have been there, day after day, waving inappropriate gestures at the traffic it created. A typical Corin Connolly move. But this thing had simply appeared. As traffic moved on, I slid into a spot beside the cemetery, my black boots splashing in the remains of last night's storm. Hanging my helmet on the handlebars, I paused, feeling off. A sensation like feathers brushing my skin rushed up my legs, sliding over my thighs. What the hell? I mean, it wasn't unpleasant. Quite the opposite. But what was it? I hadn't had a date in a few months, but the appearance of a castle, as cool as it was, wouldn't get me all hot and bothered. The feeling intensified as I stood there, staring up at the completely out-of-nowhere hill on which said castle stood. Delicious heat, like summer sunshine, spread across my stomach, then up and over my breasts. A coolness like soft raindrops followed the heat, pebbling my skin as it worked its way to my neck. A chill breeze that smelled like pines and spring leaves danced through the air, which was odd considering it was nearly Halloween. The castle was too massive to see properly from down here, but the structure really did look Renaissance-ish. I'd watched the Borgias, so I was practically an expert. On one of the castle's towers, painted images of ivy and ruby-colored flowers wove together to create the face of a clock. I crossed the